Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Daniel McGuire here, and in today's video we're going to be talking about financial aid for UCI, kind of the steps you take from filling out your FAFSA to figuring out how much you're going to have to pay, to figuring out how much your aid is, to then actually paying it. So be sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, be sure to leave them in the comment section below, and let's get to it. Okay, so the first step that you take is kind of filling out the FAFSA. So you've probably heard about this a lot, especially if you're a senior in high school or a transfer student. You've probably already done this at a community college. You would have already filled out the FAFSA, and that just dictates to the financial aid service, how much aid you can be allotted based on your parents' income or your income if you're dependent. It just kind of depends on that. And then from that situation, then you kind of go into, which schools you're going to apply to. So then you kind of fill out the list of schools that you're intending to go to. And then from there, the specific aid amounts are kind of distributed or displayed on your FAFSA website page. And then from there, you kind of can decipher what you want to do. But again, once you do get into the school, they can offer you a little bit more aid, whether that be, in particular UCI, they could offer you the UCI grant, the Anteater grant. They can offer you a lot of different grants that can accumulate to your aid, but it would just be the FAFSA being the federal amount that's going to be giving you versus the school amount that they can be giving you as well. So definitely kind of the most important thing is filling out your FAFSA, because that allows kind of both the federal government as well as the particular schools you're going to go to dictate if they can give you financial aid or if they will be giving you and how much they will be giving you for financial aid. So the FAFSA does have to be filled out every year, and then your aid award at the particular school is kind of dictated every year. So you do have to remain above a 2.0, remain fully eligible, and you have to be a full-time student to receive aid. If not, it can be incrementally, measured down towards how much aid you would be needing if you aren't a full-time student. So if you are a full-time student, you get the full amount, but let's say you're only taking 6 or 7 units, which would be half the amount. You might be getting half the amount. It kind of proportionally goes down like that from what I've heard. So once you do get that, then for UCI, you go to the Office of Financial Aid Services, and then they kind of will then show you exactly how much your award is from FAFSA, how much the school is going to give you, and how much they anticipate the cost to be. And then at the very end, you'll get kind of a total number of how much you're expected to pay. So this number that they initially give you includes tuition and board. So the board doesn't really have to be factored into it, because initially I think it says like $31,000 a year. And then it says maybe you get like 10,000 and you have to pay 21,000. But that 21,000 is including if you were to live on campus, as well as, a good amount of money saved over for books and other kind of miscellaneous activities or miscellaneous things that you might need throughout the quarter. So that's kind of factoring in an entire year of living on campus, living through how much they expect you to pay every month for rent or for living assistance, as well as the materials that you're going to need, whether that be like books, backpacks. That's all kind of factored into that price that they show you, how much you expected to pay. But it's definitely not that much, especially if you are going to be commuting, if you're living from home. And from that point, then you will accept, if you want to take out any loans, you could do that directly through them. Or if you want to take out other federal loans, you could easily do that. And then you can just figure out how much you have to pay on that website, and then that will show you, the final amount. And then you could just kind of factor out the board if you're not going to be living on campus. That'll easily be able to kind of be worked out, so you can kind of see how much you're really gonna have to pay at the end. Okay, so once you've accepted your aid and you kind of figured out whether you want to take out loans, whether you want to take out some loans or no loans, that's kind of up to you. But once you figure out that amount, then you will be able to go to Zot account, which is where your bill of sales is, essentially where you're going to be, see the exact charge for tuition, whether that be for everything that you're taking for the amount of classes. If you are a full-time student, that way you can be charged the full amount. Then you're also going to be able to see, your health insurance fee, your web account fee, which is kind of a technology fee for using the Wi-Fi on campus. And then, any lab fees that may be charged to your account if you are taking specific classes. You go to this account, this website, and that's kind of where it shows you a breakdown of everything that you're going to pay. And then once you see all of your charges, then, your financial aid or your loan amounts are going to be taken out from there. And then you kind of figure out how much you're going to have to pay at that point. And one thing from there is that's where you're going to pay all of your fees. That's where you're going to pay your tuition. That's where you're going to pay all of your things, is the Zot account as of now. So you kind of go to that website and you pay, you can do it through signing up your checking account, your savings account, or if you want to do a electronic, wire, you could do that as well. I've done kind of the, putting my checkings account and then just paying it through there. I've just straightforward, no extra fees. It's just kind of, how much you're going to have to pay that amount. And then that's everything that you're going to have to, worry about for tuition, as well as everything else. And that's really how you pay down your fees, which is going through Zot account, which once you are a full-time student, then you will be able to, understand more or less what I'm talking about, where to go and how to do it. And a quick thing is, I was mentioning the service fees individually that you're going to have to pay. One of them is the student health services fee, and it's about $600 to $700 a quarter if I remember correctly. The reason I can't remember exactly is because I've opted out of it, because luckily for me, I was able to have insurance outside of college, outside of the university provided one. And you can do that, and it could save you a few $1,000s a year because you're opting out of what they're giving you. And that's, I said, again, as I mentioned earlier, that's built into what they initially calculate for you. So if you do have your own insurance, you can use your own insurance, and then that would opt you out of needing their school provided university one. So from that point, then you could reduce your amount that you're gonna have to pay every year by a couple thousand, which is beneficial in the long run because you're not gonna have to pay that money out, and then you can be able to save that and then worry about other charges. So you won't have to pull out a specific loan to pay down that. And if you do need the health insurance, then again, it is gonna be about $600 to $700 a quarter. And at that point, then you can kind of figure out how you're gonna wanna play that to receive the insurance. And it is covered through all of the UCI affiliates. So you can go to the health center and be taken care of. You can go to a hospital and they would be able to take care of you from that point. So definitely one thing to consider when you are looking at all of your fees, whether that be, the technology fee, the health insurance fee, or the tuition fee. You can kind of work it out and then try and go to a counselor, try to schedule a meeting with a financial aid officer to kind of discuss all of that individual logistics from, the FAFSA, the Office of Financial Aid Services, to the ZOT account. Okay, and as I mentioned, it's definitely a little confusing, especially when you're not on campus, and that's kind of going to make it a little more challenging, but definitely just knowing the steps that go into it are very beneficial. I would say the most important stage is, filling out that FAFSA, obviously, but then the second stage is kind of where a lot of things get hung up in the Office of Financial Aid. If there is a claim against your account, then that's where it gets hung up, and then they don't release the funds to your ZOT account. And then if there's an issue with the FAFSA, it gets caught up in the Office of Financial Aid Services. So that's really the second point of which I mentioned is going to be the most important stage you're going to have to get through. Once you get through the Office of Financial Aid Services, then you are going to receive your funds. Then you can kind of figure out how much you're going to pay and everything from there forward. But definitely, if you have a claim or you have something where your account isn't activated or there's something there they're questioning, try to get it figured out as soon as possible. I know closer to the quarter when funds are being dispersed, that's kind of the most nitty-gritty time for them. So they're really busy. So definitely try and figure out as quickly as you can and contact them. I'm not sure about their hours right now due to everything kind of being shut down. But again, if you can, when you are allowed to go in physically, definitely if you have a question, go in and speak to them physically, and that would definitely benefit you. And definitely try to apply for grants elsewhere around the campus that can help you pay down any type of tuition costs or board costs that you may incur, as well as, loan costs if you do have to pay off a loan that you would take out. So that's it for today's video. I hope you found it a little informative. Let me know if you have any questions, and thank you for watching.